Hello and welcome to Undercommon Taste. This is a podcast where we create and discuss homebrew content for tabletop RPGs.
Yes, I'm really the last of the dodos.
I'm Ian Woodworth. I'm joined by my co-host James Daly, and today we are doing our last dragon episode, at least for now.
For now.
We have done a whole bunch of them at this point. I think this is number 11 or 12 of the dedicated dragon episodes that we've been doing in this series, and it's one of those where we're getting to the point where we have to really dig to find the obscure ones to do anything more than this.
We're gonna do the chromatics, we're gonna do the metallics. Okay, fine, because we had a request and we're gonna fill that particular request, and then we may as well do the gym dragons too. And then there's biomes. And then we just kind of went on a planeswalk, which, we haven't done a good planeswalk in a while anyway, so that was kind of fun.
Right.
So yeah, we are at the end of our second planeswalk for this podcast, which I actually really enjoy those. They do make me happy.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, they are great, but it's one of those things where our ADHD/tism is such that once we find something we enjoy, we have to be completionist about it.
Yeah. Ooh, look, something shiny.
And so we are going to wrap up what we've got here today, and then we're going to move on to something else for a little while.
Whatever our next hyperfixation will be.
Yeah. But before we really get into the episode today, I was talking with James about this a little bit before we started recording. There was a discussion prompt, for lack of a better term, that I saw the other day. Ian Kirkwood over on TikTok. He has some really fun D&D content. A lot of it is very thought-provoking stuff. A lot of thinking about how to use different monsters in different ways and such. But he asked the question the other day, why does the dragon need you to rescue it from the princess?
Okay.
And so I thought we could brainstorm for a couple of minutes and think about how we would use that as like an adventure hook or a plot twist in an adventure as to why we would need to rescue the dragon from the princess.
So for me, the first thing that comes to mind, and this would be something I would work in over several episodes, and it would be a slow lore dive / reveal for the party. But, this dragon's probably older. Let's say it's either a great worm or a fully mature drake. And perhaps as a wormling, the princess's family, great-great-grandmother, whatever, had saved it. And so it swore not to ever harm the family line. And this princess is now just greedy, evil, power-hungry, whatever, femme fatale / female villain that you want to impose on this. And the dragon needs to do something about this problem, but has this ancient promise that it made conflicting it. So it needs to take action, but it can't do it directly.
Yeah, that could be a fun one. There was one response on this video that was talking about a Fey contract.
Ooh.
and that perhaps the princess is actually a Fey princess.
Okay.
And that the dragon is under binding Fey contract
to
protect this princess.
And
so they need you to figure out how to get them out of the contract.
I like that. Another option is the princess might be a princess, but the princess might also be a humanoid form of another dragon.
Yeah, that could also work.
And again, something like what we have going on in Verdigree. Maybe this is an ongoing contest between the two dragons where they're doing their best not to reveal each other. And so this is the play that your dragon is making, is hiring your party to expose the fact that the princess is in fact a dragon. Kind of like Onyxia in WoW. Or no, it wasn't Onyxia. Was it Onyxia's mother? Oh yeah, it was Onyxia. Yeah.
It was Onyxia.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. In the initial in vanilla WoW. Because she was, yeah. Spoilers for a 20-year-old game. She was trying to control Anduin and Boulevard Dragon, who is basically he was the the warden, the regent lord, because at this point Varian Wren, who is the king of Stormwind, was off. I think he'd been captured by somebody somewhere outside of the scope of where we were in World of Warcraft at that
Yeah, he
point.
went off adventuring and just kind of vanished.
Yeah, I think he was captured by ogres. I think that's what ended up happening. It happened in the books, so and I haven't read the books, so
Yeah, and again,
but
that's mostly Alliance storyline, and I played almost
yeah,
exclusively Horde.
yeah. I mean, I started off Alliance and then quickly transitioned to Horde because that's where my friends were, and I've been playing Horde ever since. So you know where our allegiances lie
For the Horde.
for the Horde. Anyway, but yeah, those are some interesting ideas.
Yeah, no, that is a good prompt, and I do like that one. And again, it's a quick, easy twist for a role reversal, but it does get you kind of thinking about the scenario and what you want in your landscape and things like that. And something like that, even a plot point like that, hey, I want this plot point, and starting branching and building off that is a really good, like a seed crystal or a thought seed to kind of let
Yeah,
your world grow off of, which is a great idea.
yeah, and going back to your last idea, where they're both in a humanoid form, and they've got this cat and mouse game where they're trying to influence things without revealing that either one of them is actually a dragon. Doing it sort of like taking a page out of the Disney movie Tangled, where
Okay.
the princess is like Rapunzel and then the guardian is like a Mother Gothel, but maybe not as actually evil.
Okay.
like the princess, the Rapunzel figure is actually a chromatic dragon, and the Mother Gothel is actually a metallic dragon who's they're really just trying to keep this dragon away from the population centers, just
Yeah, no, I like that.
trying to keep her contained. And it comes off this view from the outside. If somebody just stumbled upon this, it looks like this old hag is trying to keep this fair princess locked away in the tower, and of course the princess is a damsel in distress and must be rescued.
Yes. I do like this too. Another twist on this is, necessarily the dragon that you're encroaching or that you're contracting with. Maybe it's an immature dragon. You have hatchling, you have whelp, and then what's after whelp?
Well, you have wormling and then very young and young.
Yeah, so maybe you have just a young dragon, and maybe it's going through its dragon version of teenage angst. And mama dragon or daddy dragon is there trying to keep it, and it's just basically throwing a tantrum because it can't go and sneak out of the house and do whatever it wants. Kind of like, again, referencing the 80s movie but Dirty Dancing. As an adult you watch it, and yeah, the parents had every right to be doing what they were doing. And when you watch it as a kid, it's like nobody puts baby absolutely needed to be in a corner.
Yes.
1000%, she was in the right spot. And so maybe you have baby dragon that's stuck in a corner and you have to rescue it because it's being punished because it was going out eating too many sheep flocks or whatever, and it's gonna pull down a bunch of anger from whomever. But yeah, an angsty teenage dragon, I think, could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just petulant, absolutely petulant.
Or we could completely flip the narrative on its head and say it's one of those instances where this princess is basically keeping a wormling as a pet,
Yeah.
and Mama Dragon wants her baby back.
Oh, nice. Yes.
It's like they didn't ask, they just took.
They swooped an egg. Yeah.
Yeah. And, I am one dragon against this entire city full of hundreds and hundreds of guards and adventurers and such. I cannot just fly in and reclaim my child. I need you to go and get my baby for
Yes.
me.
I love this. And absolutely, the princess would be Elmira from Tiny Toons, where she just absolutely loved all her pets to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I'm gonna hug him and squeeze him and call him George.
George. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, those are some fun possibilities. I like those a lot.
Yeah, that was a good way to get started here, I think.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and dive into the dragons that we got today. So we're talking about dragons from the Outlands, so the center of the Great Wheel cosmology, as well as some of the other extraplanar peripheral dragons. So astral dragons, moon and sun, or lunar and solar dragons, depending on which edition you're looking at. Now, there was one dragon on the list that I had initially said we were going to talk about, and then I started doing my research, and
Yeah,
it turns out that we've already talked about them.
that'll happen.
And that would be the ethereal dragons. Ethereal dragons were an instance where they decided to rename something for an edition and then switch it back, kind of like how deep dragons became purple dragons in fourth edition. Ethereal dragons are moonstone dragons.
And again, as mercurial as the nature of the Moonstone Dragon is supposed to be, and as flaky and flippant as they are, this totally fits. And so I'm okay with the name change. And if they change their name every other edition or every edition, it would make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have already talked about moonstone dragons. They started as moonstone in second edition. They became ethereal in third edition, and then they switched back to moonstone in Fizban's in fifth edition. So since we've already talked about ethereal dragons, we're not going to talk about them again here tonight.
Done.
Yeah, because we have 5 other dragons to talk about. Some of them have more material than others, but we're going to start off with astral dragons. Now, astral dragons, as the name suggests, are native to the astral plane. Astral dragons first appeared in first edition, like the Dragon's Bestiary, dragon number 134, way back in, I think, 86.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they have been in D&D for a very long time.
They ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, and then they ended up showing up again in the Guide to the Astral Plane in second edition, and then again in Dragon 344 in third edition. I wasn't able to dig up their stat blocks or anything from first or second edition. I just have the Dragon Magazine article from third edition to work off of.
Okay.
But the artwork is very interesting. They are kind of dart-shaped, and they have, these long, slender, flowy wings. Because it's the astral plane, they don't actually have to fly. Because you move through the astral plane by thought.
Right.
You just imagine yourself moving, and you move. It's just how they sort of work. And so they're sort of like dart-shaped almost with these... It's almost like, the kunai with the ribbons tied to the end of them.
Yeah.
That's sort of the silhouette that they give.
So they kind of have that like wispy look to them.
Yeah, and they don't have horns or ridges on their heads. It's almost like antennae that come out, and they're thin and wispy, and they flow.
So when I picture these, I kind of picture them like the wings of the angels in the Diablo series from Blizzard, where they're not feathered, but they have that kind of like that trailing energy that kind of looks like feathers / wings, but it's just energy that's bleeding off of them.
Absolutely, yeah. So their preferred location to make their lairs are on chunks of dead gods, because the astral plane is where the bodies of dead gods go to sort of float around until either they are remembered again and are resurrected, or they are completely forgotten by time and fade into the astral plane. And,
so, I was going to say, so the obvious hook here is that you're trying to find the remains of a dead god to find, like, maybe you have, like, the one last cleric of this otherwise forgotten dead god, and you're trying to, find the body or a relic off the body so you can start a belief system again. And your BBEG in this case would be the astral dragon who's taken residence up over the body.
You see, that's the thing, is I don't think that the astral dragon would want the god to actually be completely forgotten, because then the location of its lair would fade from existence.
At that point,
it would have to find another place to live.
Right, but if the god's remembered, then the god's going to resurrect, and the body's going to leave anyway. So it's kind of a catch-22 in that case.
the process for resurrecting a god is very long and involved.
Fair. So for the dragon, I think the dragon would want to pummel and dissuade the party just enough that they can't get the relic, but there is hint enough that it's there, so it's like you don't completely wipe out the last couple believers or the last believer.
Yeah.
But you make them terrified to go back, and so that way that body is preserved.
Yeah. So I was thinking also along the lines of, say you have a Vecna-like BBEG who is going through and systematically destroying all evidence of this god's existence.
Okay.
Destroying any iconography they can find, destroying any stories that they can find where this god is referenced, destroying any holy texts that belonged to this god's religion. And the party just happens to come into possession of one of these relics.
Okay.
And so the astral dragon is now going to reach out to them to try and stop this Vecna-like entity from destroying all traces of the god, so that the god isn't deleted from the astral plane.
I like that. And honestly, in this case, too, that would make a decent patron for a warlock as well. Just kind of reaching in from another plane and be like, hey, make sure people know about this dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like it.
So, reading through this article, when it comes to combat, astral dragons are ones to do hit and run sort of attacks. They're not stand up and fight sort of dragons. They'll do flybys, they'll use their breath weapon, and they are very fond of dismissing creatures from the astral plane because, quote, it's easier to expel an unwanted visitor than to dispose of its corpse.
Fair. I like it.
There's less housekeeping involved if they just send them home.
I don't have to sit there and mop for a week. It's terrible.
It also says here, if forcibly removed from the astral plane, an astral dragon never willingly leaves its home. An astral dragon rarely survives for very long. On a plane with any kind of actual gravity, the astral dragon's massive trailing horns weigh down its head, preventing it from making its bite attack. The dragon is always considered to be carrying a heavy load while in gravity, and its flying maneuverability is reduced to clumsy.
Ouch.
So yeah, they're native to the astral plane. They don't have to actually fly. Again,
Right.
They move based on thought. And so naturally, they're not going to have the musculature necessary to do much anything else. You know, they have atrophied by design because they are in a place where they don't need musculature.
Yes. Now, I want to take one of these and put it into a space jammer session, so it's in the physical plane, but it's in space, so it's still doing all of its...
Spelljammer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get to Spelljammer here in a minute. So their breath weapon, they have two different kinds of breath weapons. The first one is a line of dismissal. So it is a line breath weapon. Anything that it hits has to make a will save or wisdom save. And if they fail, they are dismissed back to their home plane.
Ooh, that's rough.
There's also a 20% chance that the line will send them to a different plane than their own, but never back to the astral plane.
Interesting.
So they have an 80% chance of going home and a 20% chance of going on an adventure.
Yay, we're going on an adventure.
And then the other one is a cone of scouring dust. So I don't know what damage type it is. It doesn't say. It just says that it's a dex save for half damage, and it's...
If it's scouring dust, I'd go with slashing.
Yeah, probably. Abrasion.
Yeah. Ooh, then it needs like a rubbing alcohol breath weapon on top of that too. There you go. Just mix them both together.
Yeah, acid splash.
Yeah. Lemon juice.
Yeah, that's the acid splash.
Right. Yeah, it's a cone of paper cut and then a line of lemon juice.
And it just has one of those little lemon-shaped bottles, and it just squeezes it at you.
Yes. Giant dragon, like, it's dainty. Squeeze.
Yep. So, like an astral dreadnought, the bite attack of an astral dragon can sever the silver cord of a creature using astral projection if it scores a critical hit.
Ooh.
And in case you don't remember, severing the silver cord is really bad.
Generally, it's ill-advised, yes.
Because that is what is tethering your soul to your body. And if that cord is severed, then your soul gets lost in the astral plane and has to try to find its way back to your body before you die.
This is how we play with homunculi.
Yes. Yeah.
Come on, necromancers.
So these astral dragons have a null gravity aura, where an aura within 30 feet plus 30 feet per age category just turns off the gravity in the area around this dragon.
So would that affect them if they're in the material plane?
That's why I'm thinking that this aura does not affect the astral dragon.
Okay. Gotcha.
Allowing it to use subjective directional gravity and its flight to move at incredible speeds. It can suppress or resume this ability as a free action.
Okay.
And as a last one, it has astral familiarity, so it gets to basically get a +8 wisdom score while on the astral plane.
Nice.
So that is going to affect things like its spot checks or its perception checks in 5th edition.
It's going to find that hobbit.
Yes, it is. Especially since it also has detect extraplanar, so it can just detect anything within 30 feet per age category that isn't native to the astral plane.
Yeah, it sees you.
Yep. And it's permanently on. It can turn it off if it wants to.
But why would it?
Yeah. It has no reason to. Yeah. And so that's astral dragons. I really like your idea of using them as a warlock patron. I think that would be a great way to utilize them.
Yeah.
And maybe reskinning a great old one patron.
Okay.
Because I can see flavoring it as astral as opposed to far realms. Because they do have a lot of parallels with the void and what have you.
Right.
And a lot of mind control stuff.
This does bring up a question which would make an amazing story hook. And again, this would be definitely like an epic level. And we'll talk about epic level quests here later. But what would happen if you were to find a warlock's patron or a coven of warlocks patron, and you summon them into the physical realm or otherwise find them and dispatch that patron? What happens to those warlocks then? And so I could see something like this where if a warlock has an astral dragon patron and you can summon it into the physical realm to do away with it, that could have some long-standing effects in your world that would be really interesting to explore.
Yeah, and not even necessarily to kill the dragon. If they were to, say, pull them in and do something like an iron flask where you get basically you're imprisoning them in a demiplane.
Oh, yeah, like the
so you end up sealing them away,
like the Dirty Gnomes did. Yeah.
So you end up sealing them away to where they can't influence the outside world, or even better, if they manage to catch them and imprison them magically on the material plane, like they're keeping them in an area of anti-gravity.
Yeah.
Basically, this special magical prison where they can survive, but they are decidedly on the material plane and not in the astral plane. And so now the warlock doesn't realize that what they are doing is furthering the goals of the BBEG, because the BBEG has their patron hostage and is making their patron give directions to the warlock of things to do that will benefit the BBEG.
I like that. I like that a lot.
So the patron is being coerced into using their tool to his ends.
I like it. Yes. No, I like that a lot. That would be a great twist. I was thinking, what's the name of the dragon that Garl Glitterglow trapped? It's the kobold dragon.
Curdlemock.
Curdlemock, yeah. Curdlemock is a patron who's just pissed at gnomes and halflings. Yeah, I want that warlock.
I don't think Curdlemock has anything against halflings, because It wasn't a halfling god that
No, yeah, it was
imprisoned
just
him.
the gnomes. Bleh, if I can talk.
Conflate.
I relate the two as the same. So yeah, gnomes are halflings, and I know they're different, but they're the same small, creepy little things. So yeah, Crittlemock is gonna go and just we've got some spite.
Okay, so let's move along. Next up, we have moon dragons or lunar dragons and sun dragons or solar dragons.
Okay.
The reason I am putting them both together is
Pokemon.
they are not both Pokemon. I'm leaving that twitch in. Uh, they are both dragons from Spelljammer. These are dragons that you are going to find as you are sailing the phlogiston, going from planet to planet on your Spelljammer ships. They first appeared in the Spelljammer Monstrous Compendium in 2nd edition, and they were brought back in 5th edition in the, see here, which one is it? Boo's Astral Menagerie in the 5e Spelljammer books. Lunar dragons actually have reasonable stat blocks and a little bit of lore about them. Because they are territorial, they are going to be something that you can potentially run into and have to fight. Sun dragons, not so much. Sun dragons have like all of 3 paragraphs because they make it pretty clear in the description of their lairs, because they make their lairs inside of suns.
Oh yeah, you're not. I'm just gonna walk in. It'll be fine.
Like, I think, let me see. Let me double check real quick. Any creature that enters the star or starts its turn inside takes 132 24d10 radiant damage.
Oh, I can soak that. It'll be fine.
And also, a creature that is within 10 miles of the star or inside it is blinded by its intense light unless the creature has protective gear to shield its eyes, such as goggles of night or a similar form of eyewear.
Oh wow.
So
yeah, you're not dealing with those.
Yeah, you're blind and cooking. They are big and they are mean, and they breathe fireballs.
The size of a star.
No, their breath weapon is literally a fireball.
Oh wow. At what level?
See here, 12d10 radiant damage.
Ooh.
For an ancient dragon.
Yeah, I like it.
So yeah, they are not friendly.
No.
If you happen to, now that's the thing though, is they're typically neutral, but according to what I was reading online, sun dragons are typically considered relatively benevolent. Relative being the operative term here, I guess. They are perfectly content to leave you alone, is the way that I am understanding this, because the 5th edition book says they tend to give a wide berth to humanoid folk, whom they find violent and tiresome.
I can get that. So one of these sun dragons is going to be like encountering the Raven Queen or the Mistress of Pain or Bahamut himself. You'll probably not have direct interaction with this character, but you'll probably have like a message left behind or a missive from this. You're not going to go toe to toe. This is not going to be something that drops on the table, unless like at the very end they pop through, just pat your party on the head and say good job. Because if your party tries to fight this thing, it's just going to blink and they're gone. So yeah, again, this is not every character in D&D is meant to be fought or really encountered with. Sometimes just the idea that something's there working behind the curtains or working behind the greater wheels, that's beyond even the scope of your mighty party, kind of to keep them humble in a way.
Yeah. I can see Sun Dragons as being another one of those that are the keepers of a MacGuffin.
Yeah.
These are an obstacle to be negotiated rather than overcome through combat. This is the encounter for your social oriented characters.
I wouldn't even go as far as that. Like I said, I would probably go that, like I said, this is built up with lore behind your story, or you encounter and work with and through this dragon through like 3 or 4 layers. Like, I know a person who knows a person who knows a person who said that the sun dragon said this and I want that, and you're who we're selecting for it.
Yeah, potentially. But I can also see sort of a treasure planet sort of thing.
Okay.
Where you have this like puzzle sphere that once you figure out where all of the pieces go and how to orient everything, it opens up into this giant like planetarium style map showing where the treasure is with relation to all of these other celestial bodies. And you have to navigate through this map to find the treasure. And at some point, you have to go past this star where this sun dragon is, and you have to figure out how are we going to get past this without melting.
Yeah. Like figure some way to call the dragon out to interact with you.
Yeah, call it out to parlay, you know.
Yeah. No, I like that. That would be a good challenge.
And then by comparison, the moon dragons or lunar dragons.
Kind of squish. Comparison. Well, by comparison.
By comparison, but they're not that much more squish. I mean, their challenge rating is 1 less per age category than a sun dragon's would be. And as you can imagine with them being sun and moon dragons, they don't get along with each other very well. Being that sort of dichotomy that you see sometimes with oppositional celestial forces, the sun and the moon, while it doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you study astronomy. From an astrology perspective, it kind of makes a little bit of sense.
It does.
And so one of the things about moon dragons, they're sometimes referred to as phase dragons because their coloring changes over the course of 30 days like the phases of the moon.
Ooh, I like
they go from solid white to solid black and back. It starts with a shadow appearing on their left side that goes all the way across until they're solid black, and then it starts on the left side again and fades white all the way across.
I like it.
And apparently their perspective on existence shifts based on their coloration. So if they're more black, they're more chaotic. If they're more white, they're more lawful.
Okay. I kind of like that. You have to know when to approach the dragon to get what you need out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that could be a good plot point to deal with or a good challenge for the party to have to consider.
Yeah. And honestly, they are typically portrayed as being evil. You know how I feel about, default evil characters.
Yeah.
Or default evil monsters, especially intelligent ones. And so, apparently, while they are in their solid white phase, lycanthropes are forced to shift into their were form and obey the moon dragon as if charmed.
Oh.
That's fun.
That is very interesting, yes.
I like that.
Just a whole bunch of werebears? Yeah, let's do it.
Especially if the dragon is evil.
Yes.
Because werebears by default are neutral good.
Yeah.
Or chaotic good. And so...
Yeah, they're chaotic good, that's right.
Yeah. And so, a group of chaotic good werebears having to obey a moon dragon, an evil moon dragon, as if they're charmed by it.
In this case, if it's full white, it would be a lawful evil, so it would be an exact opposite.
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love it.
Yeah. All right. So going off of the stat block in 5e, they have a burrow speed, and then they can burrow through solid rock at a rate of 20 feet per round.
Fair.
Because they hollow out moons for their lairs.
Yeah, because they're made of cheese.
Well, funny you should say that, because what they will do is they will hollow out a moon and then they will stockpile food within their lair when they are getting ready to lay their eggs.
Oh, okay.
Because their parental strategy is they lay their eggs and then they don't leave the moon until the hatchlings are old enough to survive on their own.
Oh my, okay. So yeah, you definitely want to stock up, get that pantry filled.
Yeah. So the moon being made of cheese might actually be true. So in 5th edition, they don't have necessarily the color changing phase the way that they did in 2nd edition. The way that they did it mechanically in 5th edition is that for 3 times a day, they can concentrate for as long as they want and become partially incorporeal.
Second edition's better.
It is. It absolutely is. And while partially incorporeal, they have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage.
That's boring comparatively.
It really is. And then their breath weapon is... And the breath weapon is a cone of cold damage, blast of frost, that deals a bunch of cold damage on a failed save and reduces the target's speed to 0 until their next turn.
Well, that fits a nocturnal theme. I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah, something I forgot to mention, both sun and moon dragons have the unusual nature that they do not require air to live.
Understandable. Again, they're
I mean, they fly through space. Of course they don't need air. So
Ow.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Anyway.
And then as legendary actions, they can make a wing attack. So make a dex save or take some damage and get knocked prone. And then it gets to move half its fly speed.
Okay.
And then treacherous ice. So magical ice covers the ground in a 20-foot radius centered on a point the dragon can see within 120 feet. The ice, which is difficult for terrain for all creatures except lunar dragons, lasts for 10 minutes or until the dragon uses this legendary action again.
Okay.
So it just gets to turn a chunk of the area into an ice skating rink.
Good deal.
Fun times. So yeah, I really wish that I could have found their stat block for second edition.
Yeah. They definitely sound much more interesting for second edition.
Yeah. So according to what I'm seeing here, some of their spell-like abilities that they picked up were Melf's Minute Meteors.
Ooh.
Repulsion, which I'm pretty sure just makes you go away.
Yeah.
So they gain repulsion, and they also get reverse gravity.
Okay. And again, space critter, that makes sense.
And apparently one of the things that they liked to hoard were spell jamming helms.
Interesting.
So I guess that is to say that if you need a spell jamming helm, finding a lunar dragon's hoard is probably the most reliable way to get your hands on one without having to spend a whole bunch of money to get one.
I could see that, or it's using the lycanthropes to go and collect them all as well, would be actually kind of an interesting take on things as well.
Yeah, but the thing about that is they're only compelled like 1 day a month.
Right.
So the other 29 days of the month, they are under no compulsion, and they're probably going to be kind of bitter about the fact that you compelled them in the first place.
Maybe. I'm thinking like 1 day a month you have like some sort of Ocean's 11 massive break into some secured location, because those Spelljammer helms, again, they're not cheap. And you've got to figure out where this crime ring is centered from, because once a month they're hitting.
Oh, werewolf space pirates.
Yes, we got it. We have a winner. We have a winner.
They ride this ancient lunar dragon through the phlogiston. They don't have a ship. They literally ride the dragon.
Yes.
And then they straight up skydive off of the dragon into your envelope onto your ship.
Yes.
That's their boarding party.
Yeah.
They drop ship onto your ship from this dragon. And they go through, and their whole thing is they come in, it's a smash and grab. Yeah. They come in, they make a beeline straight for the Spelljammer, straight for the pilot. They do whatever it takes to get that helm, and once one of them has the helm, it's all run to the sides of the boat and jump overboard.
It's the helm and the galley, because they're getting the food too. So that way that way the dragon can get its nest ready.
Potentially. That might be what they do on the other 29 days of the month.
Yeah, okay,
is they just go around
raiding food.
Yeah, or farming.
Yeah. I'm growing moon radishes.
Yeah. And then, once they have it, they all just jump overboard, and the dragon catches them and flies away with them.
Oh, that is it. The lycanthropes, the other 29 days of the year, they are moon farmers. And they're just like yokels.
Oh yeah.
And then
I
that
like
one day
that.
they become like vicious pirates.
Yeah.
Oh, we have our
There we
adventure hook right
go.
there. We got it. I love
There
it.
we go. There's our Spelljammer campaign.
Nice.
Like we're trying to figure out why all of these spaceships are just getting found just adrift out in space. And it's because this lunar dragon has a crew of werewolf space pirates that
Yeah.
he goes and raids their ships.
And I like
And
it too. And like actual pirates, again, if you're willing to surrender the helm, well, they're not going to ravage the crew. They just want the helm. And so, yeah, you've got a bunch of these ships that are just sending out distress flares because, I mean, some try to fight and are completely wasted. But the ones that are like, yeah, here, take it. And now they're just floating out there derelict waiting for someone to
right.
come rescue them. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I love this. I love
and
this.
what they're counting on is this sudden surprise show of force and aggression.
Yes.
Because, I mean, you're sailing through space, minding your own business, and then all of a sudden this dragon shows up and drops 20 werewolves on your deck.
Yes.
That's a little bit disconcerting.
So, again, Ian and I, we're both fans of Jim Butcher, and we've talked about Dresden Files a lot. But his other series, I don't know
Yeah,
the
the
name of the
Cinder
series.
Spires.
Cinder Spires, yeah. The first book is The Aeronauts Win Last, but they have basically, it's a steampunk kind of theme. And that is
Crystal
what,
Punk.
Crystal
Crystal
Punk,
Punk,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Because it's all
But that is,
crystal magic.
yeah, but that is one of the main tactics, especially for these pirate ships and ship battles, is they'll come in high, and then they'll just drop in fast, fire a broadside, and then keep dropping until they can go and disable a ship, and then they can raid or loot or otherwise evade whatever they
Yeah.
need to do. But that kind
And
of
I,
dropping in out of the sky,
and I can't remember, there is one of the cities that basically they have wingsuits.
yeah,
And that's what they do is they're
because they're
Marines.
Marines, yeah,
Yeah, they jump off the ship and they windsuit onto the enemy ship because they don't have the big warships like these other major spires have. And
yeah.
so they use that as they're basically the Viking equivalents of this setting. And
I'm just saying, I'm finishing school's going to end up in May, and wrapping up my master's program, and we might have to write another another campaign scenario because this
yeah,
this is gold. I love this.
or just play it. We might just
Yeah,
have to
just play
play
it.
it.
Yes.
Anyway, we've spent a good bit of time on the Sun and Moon Dragons.
Yeah, we got a little excited on that one.
We did. Um, so next up, we have Concordant Dragons. And Concordant Dragons are native to the Outlands. So the hub at the center of the Great Wheel cosmology, where the city of Sigil is. They are pretty standard looking dragons. They're kind of spiny, kind of. I would consider them metallic ish.
Okay.
They are true neutral, being from the Outlands, but their scales, they're big blocky scales, and they have the color of lead. Now,
Okay. You're saying blocky scales, and I was immediately picturing bismuth.
no, they're not that colorful,
Uh,
unfortunately.
we need a
Um,
bismuth dragon.
we do. And so they have a breath weapon, and their breath weapon deals damage based on the target's alignment.
Ooh.
Because it is an antithetical energy weapon. So their breath weapon has a damage category of 2d4 per age category. So a wormling starts at 2d4 and it goes all the way up to 24d4 as a great worm.
Okay.
That damage is per step away from neutral you are. So,
Nice. Okay.
so if you are lawful neutral, chaotic neutral, neutral good, neutral evil, you just take that damage, half damage on a save. If you are lawful good, lawful evil, chaotic evil, you take double
Oof. That's
because
rough.
you're one step on law chaos and one step on good evil.
Yeah, that is an interesting mechanic. I like it. That's rough for a lot of players, but yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's their big thing. Their whole thing is they work to keep all of the various ethos, all of the various alignments, chaos, evil, good, and law, keeping them in balance.
Yeah.
So that they go out of their way to suppress any group that is starting to exert undue effect, undue
Okay.
influence on the cosmos.
No, I like these. These are interesting. Not anything I would jump to real fast, but I mean, especially if you're doing like a sigil campaign, definitely something to throw in.
Yeah. And they've got a bunch of things like things that block scrying, so they get non-detection. They get the ability to scry. They gain invisibility as a spell-like ability, and then temporal stasis, which I think is basically time stop, but for one thing for an indeterminate amount of time. It's basically putting you in time prison.
Okay. Now, again, if you had a Greek pantheon, I could see Nemesis like having one of these as a companion or a mount. Or if you had Inevitables arriving, absolutely
yes.
these would pair with Inevitables.
Yeah, I think that if you have a group of inevitables trying to do something and the thing that they are going up against is too much for the inevitables to handle alone, they would show up with a concordant dragon next time.
Yeah, I like it.
But again, this is from Dragon 321. Unfortunately, Dragon 321 didn't go into a whole lot of detail on the dragons that they had. This is one where the beast dragons were and the axial dragons and the adamantine dragons. A lot of the ones that we've talked about over the last few episodes that didn't have a whole lot to go on. And to my knowledge, this is the only time that it was actually printed. So, but yeah, that's the concordant dragons. And now to the main event.
Dun, 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 dun.
So this is one that I didn't realize was a thing until I started looking in my books. And in the 5e Planescape monster manual, there was an entry for time dragons.
Oh my.
And I'm like,
come on, Chromie. Come on, Chromie.
These look cool. I like these. I wonder where they came from. They came from Dragon issue 359 in 3rd edition. And oh boy.
Buckle up, boys and girls. It's going to be fun.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna start off. So the time dragons in 3rd edition look vastly different from the ones in 5th edition. The 5th edition ones look so much cooler. The 3rd edition ones kind of look like the Jabberwocky. Or the Jabberwock. I'm sorry. Jabberwocky is the poem. The Jabberwock is the creature. They have this very narrow, elongated jaw with a whole bunch of sharp teeth. They've got this sort of pterodactyl fin crest coming up off the top of their head. And these long, like, bony fingers on their claws. They're really weird looking, and I don't like them very much. The 5th edition ones, however, have this sort of alabaster body with wings that fade into black with these sort of shimmering, iridescent lines going through them. And then they have this crest on the top of their head. For those of you who play World of Warcraft, the sigil on the Blood Elf flags and stuff, that double phoenix wing coming up, that's what their crest looks like. That's the shape.
5th edition looks much better.
So much better. And one of the really cool things about time dragons is they don't die. Ever. If you kill it, its soul will bamf to a random plane, materialize as an egg, and then hatch again in 1d100 years with all of its memories.
Oh my.
Yeah, it is literally a phoenix of a dragon.
Just hope that it rolls really, really high, or you are a short-lived race.
The flavor text, because Mort is this little talking skull character that is the kind of like the mascot for the 5e Planescape monster manual book. And the flavor text that he puts on Time Dragons is, don't pick fights with dragons, and especially not ones that already remember eating you.
Yeah, definitely.
I love it. So in 5th edition, they have Time Breath. So they have a cone breath weapon. Anything caught in that cone, non-magical objects and vegetation, just crumbles to dust.
Ooh,
Each
it's
each
Nikki time.
yeah, well, that aren't being carried or worn. So it's not going to dissolve your clothes. I'm sorry.
Aw.
Um,
I was gonna say Shadow Magnus Cancer does have that codpiece, and so he would totally be rocking just that.
yeah, because it is magical.
It is.
Um, so, and any creatures that are caught in it have to make a con save or take a whole bunch of force damage and be magically weakened as they are
Ooh.
desynchronized from the time stream.
Oh, that's rough.
So, while in this state, attack rolls against them have advantage, and they have the poison condition, and all other creatures have resistance to all damage it deals.
Wow.
So, on a successful save, it takes half as much damage only. It doesn't get desynced, and the weakened creature can repeat its saving throw at the end of each turn. And depending on the age of the dragon, determines how many times you have to save for the effect to end.
Ooh.
So, like a young dragon, you only have to do it once. An adult dragon, you have to do it twice. An ancient dragon, you have to do it thrice.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. And they also have an ability once a day called Time Gate. So they summon a 20-foot diameter portal that links to a precise location on any plane of existence at a point of time up to 8,000 years from the present. The portal lasts for 24 hours or until the dragon's concentration ends.
They're gonna punch you like right to the point that like some major like castle collapses and you're just gonna get teleported right underneath the wall.
They are literally going to punch you into the Stone Age.
Yes. Well, I mean, yeah. So 8,000 years would be Stone Age, yeah.
Yes.
You don't
Yes,
get punted into the mouth of a T-Rex, unfortunately, but
no.
Oh, you get punted like right in the middle of like the Great Fire of London or something like that. Again, just some like the plague. Yeah. A Mongol horde running through. Oh, you could do a lot. Like Hannibal and the Punic Wars. Oh yeah, you could teleport someone into some fun times.
You get teleported into the Library of Alexandria while it's on fire.
Yeah.
Save
and
what
you just happen to be holding a book of matches, strangely enough.
Yeah.
You get blamed for it.
So it says the portal has a front and back on each plane where it appears. Travel through the portal is possible only by moving through its front. Anything that does so is transported to the destination, appearing in an unoccupied space nearest the portal. Deities and other planar rulers can prevent portals created by the dragon from opening in the ruler's presence or anywhere within their domains.
Ooh.
So basically, the only thing that can dictate whether or not that portal opens up is a god.
Yeah. Within D&D lore, how long ago was the Time of Troubles?
I'm not sure. I think I would say probably about 500-600 years. It's within the range. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be be very interesting.
For 8,000 years, they could punch you back to the point in time where 10th level spells still existed.
Ooh, nice. Yeah. Oh, punch you all the way back to second and first edition.
Before it was either was it Mystara, whichever the god of magic was that decided, nope, you mortals are being irresponsible with your magic, so I'm going to cap this at 9th level.
Oh no, that actually no. That is a perfect idea in that track. So you have Mystara that created the Time of Troubles.
The death of Mystara caused the Time of Troubles.
So Vecna himself and all the crap that he tried to pull at the end of Vecna Lives is the in-canon reason for the rule shift between 2nd edition and 3rd edition.
Yes.
So literally you could use this time dragon to teleport your players into past D&D editions.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
So you go from 5th to 2nd or 5th to 3rd, 5th to 4th, maybe-ish. But yes, no, I love that. That is, we can have a lot of fun with that.
So as cool as all of that is, now we get to talk about the 3rd edition Time Dragons. Because the 3rd edition Time Dragons were unhinged.
Yes.
So they came out shortly after a certain splat book called the Epic Level Handbook. The Epic Level Handbook was a book with a bunch of new rules for what to do with your players after they hit level 20. And one of the things that they put in there is a template for epic dragons. So ways to scale up dragons to beat epic levels so that your epic level party doesn't just steamroll them. Third edition time dragons were initially designed as epic dragons from the get-go.
Right.
To the point where wormlings start off as a huge size category at CR26.
That's the start.
That's
That's
the
as
start.
easy as it's getting.
When you get to Great Worm, they are colossal plus. They occupy a 40 by 40 square, so 8 by 8 square on the map. Their reach for their attacks is 30 feet or 40 feet for their bite, and their breath weapons have a 160-foot line or an 80-foot cone.
Oof.
And to top it all off, a Great Worm Time Dragon is a CR90. 90.
That's, yeah. So you'd need a party of 10 level 20s. So CR20
I don't know.
would be 5 level 20s.
Something
so
like that,
40,
maybe?
60, 80. Yeah, you'd need like a party of like 20 level 20s for it to be a dangerous encounter. Yeah,
Something like that.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That is rough. That's like 40-man raid rough.
Yeah. It's AC 91, 99 spell resist. So yeah, they are at DC 91 on their Frightful Presence.
That's insane.
Yeah, it truly is. So they could empower their spell-like abilities twice a day as the meta magic, which I think it lets you re-roll a certain number of dice. I can't remember what that one was. And they could also maximize a single spell-like ability up to 3 times a day. They had to pick which one it was going to be, and they could only do that one, but they could do it 3 times a day.
Meteor Strike or Phantasmal Killer. One of those two.
Potentially, yeah. So they have 2 breath weapons. The first one is Ravaging Time. So there is no save for this breath weapon. Everything caught in that ages 1 year per age category of the dragon.
Okay.
All objects lose 1 hardness, and all creatures lose 1 constitution if they fail their saving throw.
Ooh.
And that's 1 point per age category.
That's rough.
Yes. And then the other one is Time Expulsion. So you are just ejected from the timeline for a certain number of rounds, depending on how old the dragon is. And you just disappear for however many rounds. And then whenever it expires, you come back as if no time had passed.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, you just jump forward like 6 rounds.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. Sucks if the party healer is the one that gets hit.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I like this, but I am really, really excited about the idea of punting players through additions. I think that's the gold right there.
Yeah. So they have time control, so they can give themselves haste for up to 5 minutes per day at will.
Ooh.
It doesn't have to be consecutive rounds.
Okay.
And once they get that ability, they are also immune to slow.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
They also gain Time Stop at will. Yes, they can cast the 9th level spell Time Stop at will.
That's broken.
Once they cast it, they have to wait 2d4 rounds before they can cast it again. But still, they get Time Stop at will.
That's rough.
Once they hit very young, they get Draconic Surge, which is basically Action Surge, but for a 3rd edition Epic Dragon.
Yeah, you're not fighting this thing. You're losing to this thing. This is what killed Chuck Norris.
Yes, I think so. Once it hits adult or older, they're just permanently under the effects of the haste spell.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They can turn it off at will and turn it back on at will, but by default, they're just under haste.
Now, with 5th edition rules of haste, I know you get that turn of where you lose your action.
Yeah, I don't think that they're stunned.
Okay.
I wouldn't stun them.
Okay.
Oh, and when that happens, it reduces the refractory period between their time stops to 1d4 rounds as opposed to 2d4.
Oh, wow.
Once they hit Ancient, they gain an aura that is 10-foot radius per age category for up to 10 rounds a day, where they just turn on slow for everything in that aura.
So they have haste, and then you have slow. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not fighting this thing, you're dying to this thing. It's GG.
Yeah. And then to wrap it all up, once they hit Great Worm, not only do they have an AC of 91, not only do they have a spell resistance of 99, they get to use Time Stop every other round. And they become immune to any spell with a duration longer than instantaneous.
Holy crap.
That's what you get with a CR90.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn.
So like I said, they're just built different.
Yeah, that's oof. I kind of want to play with one. I'm gonna pet that dog.
So yeah, that's the Time Dragons. That is the high note that we're stopping on.
Yeah, that's a good dragon to wrap the series up onto.
I don't think we can't top it.
No, we really can't. Quite literally.
Like, it's just going to stop time and reverse it.
Like, this would make Bahamut and Leviathan together its bitch. Like, it would just, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I love it. But like, again, really, I'm excited about Edition Portals. That's a whole, and I don't think anybody's considered that because I've never heard of anybody doing anything like that. And so that is a whole huge can of worms that we definitely need to explore.
Yeah. And, that's because I don't think a whole lot of people did a whole lot with the 5e Planescape, because that happened right as the OGL stuff was blowing up. And so it was literally the last thing that I bought because I was excited about Planescape.
Yeah.
And because I had already pre-ordered it through my LGS.
And those books are gorgeous.
Yeah. And I have the box set with the alternate cover art. And so I got it. And the guy who did all of the art in the 5e book is the same guy who did all of the art in the second edition Planescape books.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you can definitely tell with the art style because he has a very distinct art style. And I can't remember for the life of me what his name is. See here. Tony DiTerlizzi.
Okay.
I thought that was DiTerlizzi, yeah. He'd also done a whole bunch of art for Magic the Gathering cards.
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounded familiar from that.
He just signs it DiTerlizzi on the Magic cards, but
gotcha.
Yeah, he has a very distinct art style, and you can tell how he has matured as an artist over the last 30 years by comparing the two, but it is definitely distinctly his.
Okay.
And I love his art style, and I had to get him. As a final product to buy, it was a good choice.
Fair.
But anyway, yeah, so that's where we're going to wrap up for today. Not sure what we're going to be doing for our next episode. And I'm going to hope that this episode doesn't sound too janky because our schedules got all kind of messed up. So I have a very short timeline to turn around to get this edited. So there may be a lot of editing stuff that would normally get cut out that's getting left in today. We'll find out.
You can hear all my vocal tics. It'll be wonderful.
Not that you had that many tonight.
Fair.
But anyway, thank you all for listening. If you have any comments, suggestions, or ideas, send us an email, undercommontaste@gmail.com, or come join us on our Discord. You can find a link to the Discord on our website, undercommontaste.com. You can also find links there to our Patreon, patreon.com/undercommontaste, and our itch store, undercommontaste.itch.io.
We're happy you found us as this is your first time listening. If it is, you can find all of our other podcasts with our other deep dives on Planes and Dragons and Homebrew and everything else. Just search Under Common Taste on your podcatcher of choice.
Stay safe, everyone, and we will see you again in 2 weeks.
Happy gaming.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Under Common Taste. Our theme song is Massacre Anne, written and performed by Mary Kroll and used with permission. You can find Mary online at marykroll.bandcamp.com or on Patreon at patreon.com/Dr. Mary C. Kroll. Our logo is by David Sutherland. You can find more of David's work on deviantart.com/David Sutherland or on instagram.com/Willex_73. We'll be back in 2 weeks, so stay safe and we'll see you then.